coming on a page.
Good morning, Facebook. Happy New Year from Keeping It Real. And we want to thank you for tuning in with us today. As we start the year of 2019, we are going to discuss this is going to be a very relaxed show. We're going to discuss, my co-host and I today, Leonora, we're going to discuss just little things that we can do to keep ourselves in an emotionally well place. And we're focusing on that today because in previous shows we've always spoken about it, and as many of you know who've been following us and tuning in, we speak about all of the different facets of being emotionally well. But today we just want to talk about some of the little things that you may not even really think of, and we want to just encourage you to be intentional. Because I think many times what we do, we are very, very intentional about doing other things. We're very intentional about being physically well, but our emotions or our mental being is one that we really take for granted. So today, as we begin 2019, we're going to discuss with you, and I want you to feel free to interact. Today's an interactive show. If you have questions or comments, we're going to be following them on Facebook. So feel free to, say what it is you want to say. If you have some input, suggestions, or questions, like I said, put it out there. We're going to try and answer that. But we're just going to discuss, in the spirit of totally keeping it real, how can we be more better equipped for 2019 by being emotionally well. And why this is such an important topic for me and should be for everyone else is because when you are emotionally well, then you are well. Life is good because being emotionally well, being emotionally stable is the key to true fulfillment, true peace, true happiness. If you're not emotionally well, you're not well. And no amount of money, no amount of material possessions, no amount of accomplishments, no amount of financial success can bring you emotional wellness. Emotional wellness comes from within. It comes from the way we think. It comes from our thoughts. It comes from the quality of the life we live as opposed to what we have materially, So that's why it's very important for us to take care of our emotional health. I think for too long we've really taken it for granted. Before I continue, I just want to really recognize all of our partners who, throughout the last couple of months with the show, have really sewn into this ministry and have seen fit to assist us with continuing to produce this show. So right now I just want to say a happy new year and a great big thank you to Richie's Calypso. Richie's is your #1 family shoe store. Been here for over 40 years. And Rhonda and the girls down there, they've been very consistent with partnering with us. They believe in what we're doing. They believe in helping to keep the Grand Bahama community emotionally well. As we have so little outlets, this show is one of the few resources that we have. Hence the reason why it was birthed, to actually help you deal with any type of emotional crisis in your life. We also want to say hello to Liz and her crew at Upstairs Restaurant, Upstairs on the Bay, over there off of Midshipman Road. We want to say a big thank you to Upstairs on the Bay. We also want to say thank you to 5 Star Shipping. And listeners, for all of you that are tuning in, please support these businesses because they believe in the community. They believe in what we're doing here. So we want you to really return the favor, support their businesses. 5 Star Shipping down there on Milton and Keith Street. For all of your shipping needs, check them out. Neil and the crew are more than willing to help you. Then we want to say a big shout out to Simply the Best, our production company. If it were not for Simply the Best, this would not be possible because, Clifford Bo down there, my husband, has really taken the time, and you don't want to see the setup. There's so much equipment here. Sometimes we don't realize the effort that goes into a lot of what is done. Clear video, crisp audio, it all takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of equipment. And I want to say a big thank you for Simply the Best for believing in this show, Real Talk, and for continuing week after week to sponsor and to partner with us. We also want to say thank you to Ideal Health Spa. That's Lorraine Miller. For those of you who are looking for massage or any type of hot stones massage, sports massage, whatever it is you need, check out Lauren at the GB Fitness building down there, right? She can fix you up. And then I want to say a big shout out, a big thank you to the girls down there at Here to Please. We got Doris, we got Melon, we got Petula. I want to say thank you. And I want to say thank you, ladies, for again partnering with us with the show. So listen, if you're looking for Here to Please, it's just what it says. You know, they're there to please. So check Doris and the crew down out there. They're in the old immigration building. You can't miss them. And then I want to say a quick shout out to Cabinet Depot. We want to thank Cabinet Depot for partnering with us and for sponsoring us over the last couple of shows. And we want to say also a big thank you to C&V Rental down there at Port Lucaya. Check out Cassius Bow if you need a car rental, efficient, clean, nice cars. He's right there on the side across from the Port Lucaya parking lot. So that's C&V Rental. And finally, of course, I want to say a big shout out to Zorbers. Zorbers is our family-friendly restaurant. Been in business forever. It's our go-to place. We all know it. We want to say a big thank you to Nick and the Zorbers family for, again, partnering with us to make this show a reality. So with that being said, we're going to go into what we're speaking about today. And I want to introduce, I don't even know if she needs an introduction, but I'll do it still. I want to introduce my good sister, my good friend, Leonora Dames. And you know that Nora has shared so much of her story as we have gone through the various shows. She looks nice and beautiful and just, on fleek this morning. But, we look at people and we don't always know what their story is. And everyone has a story. Most of you would have heard Nora's story. If you haven't, I implore you to go to my YouTube channel or Facebook and check out some of the stuff. This is a warrior here, a victorious woman who has endured a lot, who has endured a mental crisis, emotional crisis in her life, and has been able to persevere through God's grace and through the support of her husband and her family. So we want to say, welcome, Nora.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Yes.
Joyful New Year.
Right. Now, Nora, I'm going to ask you some questions because, of course, I am well on my way to emotional wellness.
Yes.
I do not want to say that I am where I need to be because that would not be accurate. And, of course, for all of you that know me, I really try to keep myself honest. And I know that I am not where I need to be emotionally, but I am not where I used to be. So there's progress. But Nora, and I like to point her out because for those of you who may be emotionally unwell or feel like you're in a dark place right now, I like to bring Nora on because when I look at Nora, I see the words HOPE on her face. That's what I see. And I know that a lot of you who are in your wilderness, who are in your dark place, where, who are in that position where things are just not going well for you right now, you tend to think it's never going to get better. You tend to think you're never going to get through. You tend to think, or you ask the Lord, when is this going to end? It just feels like these rough times have been going on forever. When am I going to be able to get out of this depression? When will the anxiety stop tormenting me? When is this marriage going to get better? When am I going to be able to stop scratching my head every end of the month when the bills come through? Everyone has their own cross. Yes. Life is not easy, and the Lord reminds us in James that it is filled with trials and tribulations because we live in a fallen world, people. We live in a fallen world, and that's just the reality of it. When we see Eve, then we got to deal with her. And Adam. But I still say Eve first because she started it off, right? So For that reason, sin is in this world. We live in a fallen world. The devil also is in this world. He's actually the prince of his world, the prince of this world, according to what our Bible tells us. So we know that there are going to be hard times. So my quest is that when we are going through those hard times, because see, I need to tell you how to be emotionally well when everything good.
No.
When everything good, we all smiles, we're able to praise, we're able to, life is good, we're smiling. So I don't need to tell you how to be emotionally well when things are going great in your life. Now, when things are not, when those trials come, when those tribulations come, when you lose somebody you love, when the doctor gives you some type of diagnosis, you know, what are some of the things, Nora, I'm going to ask you because, and I'm asking Nora because Nora has actually overcome. She's an overcomer and she has been through her wilderness and she now lives that life where she's very at peace and in a very, very good place emotionally. So I'm going to ask you, Nora, picking your brain a bit. What are some tips you can give us as we go into 2019 as to how we can be well emotionally?
Okay. Good morning to those who are just joining us. Happy New Year to all of you.
Yes.
And today is the 3rd day of January
2019.
2019.
Wow.
What I do, I number my days. When I say I number my days, I have a calendar. I have a calendar that I have to turn for the months and then add in the days. So what I do is I number my days. Today is January 3rd, and today is the only day I'm going to deal with. Not tomorrow, but today. So January 3rd, I'll have what I have to do for today. And if I can't deal with it, I just leave it. You can't change it. That's it. I do that, and I did that I started doing that last year. I just deal with what I have to deal with today, because if you borrow problems from tomorrow or borrow problems from the month after, you're going to be really stressed out. So today, in this moment, I'm going to deal with what I need to deal with now.
Okay, so this is something that I have had to learn as I have journeyed this past 2.5 years, and that is what Nora is referring to is what we call living in day compartments. And I think that so many of us, and Lord, I am so guilty of it, we stress so much about the future.
Yes.
And really, the Bible tells you tomorrow is promised to no man. So one of the things that is very important, based on what Nora is saying, is to live in day compartments. It's hard.
It is.
And you know, just for the record, nothing that we're telling you is easy, okay? Because I think achieving emotional wellness is not an easy thing.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
You know, it takes work, it takes effort, it takes you being intentional, and it takes time.
Yes, it does. You have to intense focus, because it's hard for you to not think about tomorrow. It's hard for you to not think about what's going to happen to me at 9:30 tonight. I think my husband has a major problem. If he knows he has to deal with something in February, and he don't know how it'll turn out, every day before that February day, he's thinking about what could happen, what might happen, and truly, everything he's thinking about don't really even have to happen.
Right.
But you know, we do that. We borrow from tomorrow's problem and we bring it into today, and we don't enjoy today. So what I do, I enjoy my day moment by moment by moment by moment. And if something overwhelms me, I go to the throne of grace and I said, I am angry about this. I cannot deal with this. And you said you're going to give me a peace of mind. And when I get up, I leave that there. And trust me, I have a peace of mind about it. Because I depend on the Heavenly Father to do that for me.
Okay. So, I was going to ask you, let's say, right, because this is going to happen to some persons this year.
Yes.
Someone is going to lose a marriage.
Yeah.
Someone is going to lose a child.
Yes.
Someone is going to be diagnosed with a terminal disease. When that happens, how do you remain in an emotionally well state?
Okay. If you are in these situations for this year, or you're in the situation already, you can't, if you could change anything about it, change it. If you're the one that is causing the problems in the marriage, then just change your mindset, change the way you deal with things. But if you're not the person that is in the wrong, then you have to say within yourself, guess what? I cannot change someone else. If God has blessed this marriage, that's it. I'm happy I'll be alone for now, but you're gonna, literally, it takes real discipline. If you lost a loved one, you're gonna miss the person. But you should have a hope in you that, guess what? 2,000 years, the persons that lived 2,000 years ago, they died. They're not living now. So once you're living, you're gonna die. You're gonna lose persons. Tomorrow I may be, not tomorrow, next week Thursday, I may be in the obituary. Some people would say, God forbid. I don't say God forbid. Why? Because I have a hope that when I leave from here, I'm going someplace better. So you have to change your mindset, think on things that are pure, things that are good report. You may be having problems in your marriage. Yes, I'm having problems. You're not me, but you're having problems in your marriage. You say, guess what? Things are going to get better. If it doesn't work out, I can't do nothing about it. You have to change your mindset. Your mindset have to be positive, because the enemy is going to bring, your child isn't dead yet. The enemy is going to bring, so supposed to get knocked down. Suppose this happen. You missing here, the child have a headache, or they're going to have a seizure. An aneurysm is going to burst out in their brain. But it hasn't happened. We create these scenarios in our mind, and then we say it's going to happen. It hasn't happened. And if it does happen, you have to have the peace within yourself, knowing that, yes, this happened, but I cannot change what is.
That reminds me of the Serenity Prayer.
Yes.
It reminds me of the Serenity Prayer.
It does.
And one of the things I want to point out, I think our pastor alludes to it sometimes, but based on what you're saying, one of the things I just wanted to point out to all of you is that, there are going to be trials.
Once you're living, you're going to have trials.
There are going to be tragedies.
Yes.
There are going to be crises.
Yes.
But we don't have to despair. We don't have to lose all hope.
We don't have to live in fear of it. We don't have to live in fear. If we look at, well, we're going to speak from Christian point of view.
Yes.
We're going to speak from Christian point of view,
yes,
because we are believers.
Yes.
So when you look at that fear, Jesus, our Lord and Savior, feared. But he knew the will of the Father for him. And because he learned that this will was what he had to submit to, he lived in hope. He said, not my will, but yours be done. We don't know the will of the Father for us. He knows the end of the story. We know the end of the story for us, because Revelation tells us. So now we know, we live in hope that, guess what, no matter what happens to us,
right,
God is still in control. God still is on his throne. God reigns in my life. He reigns in every situation of my life. And don't think, I live in this world, but I really not of this world. When I say that, you have the systems of the world, like the light bill, the water bill. You have to go in and you have to deal with traffic. They're there to frustrate you, because, like you said earlier,
right,
Satan is the principalities of this world.
Yes.
So if you just have the hope in this world system, then you're not going to be able to make it. So what you have to do is you're going to live in the hope that God has given to you, that you'll see better days, you'll see a brighter day, you'll see hope for today, not tomorrow, hope for today.
Yes. Just want to say a shout out to Odette, one of our
Yes.
faithful listeners. We
Odette
see you
Bain.
tuned in,
Yeah.
yeah. Jadinelle, looks like you're tuned in as well. So hey,
Everyone.
feel free to comment if you have any questions or suggestions. Also, Rachel, you're tuned in. Happy New Year, my sister. And we just wanted to do a little shout out every so often.
Yeah.
But I think what Nora said is very, very important, because I know for me, there was a time when I just thought, and it was a very idealistic way to think. Guess I was young and I was stupid, but I just thought that, life is just going to be okay. Life is going to be good all the time. Those bad things that happen to other people aren't going to happen to me. And now I'm realizing that that is really, really not the case. And that to be emotionally well, we actually have to master the art of being content when we are in a crisis, when we are in a trial, because they will come. And I think for me that's been one of the biggest revelations. My pastor sometimes says, don't ask the Lord to take the trial away. Ask him for the strength to make it through the trial. Because what's so funny about it all, people, my brothers and sisters who are tuning in, if you're in a dark place right now, I don't know why it is, but it's God's doing, and a lot of his ways are past my understanding.
God's allowing.
God, somehow, you're always stronger when you come out of that dark place.
Yes, because it's a rear view mirror. It's like you're driving. And the California fires. Remember the video with the California fire?
Yeah.
And the lady said, I didn't think that I was getting through this. And she's recording before her. In the front of her is snow and fire, but she's still going through on the road.
Right.
But when she looks back, it's looking clearer in front of her than when she looked in the rearview mirror. And she looked in the rearview mirror and she looked back.
That's a very good analogy.
Yeah, she looked back and she said, I don't believe that I got through this.
Right.
So, you have to realize and look in the rearview mirror. Look up ahead of you. Know what you're going through. Deal with what you're going through. Have peace in what you're going through. Have hope in what you're going through. But always look through the rearview mirror, and then you'll see where he actually brought you from and through.
Very well said. Excuse me? Very well said. Very well said. The only thing, Nora, I can keep it real. I don't like that part.
No, we never do.
I don't like that part. I don't like going through the fire. I don't like going through the trial. I don't like going through that stuff.
We never do. And I didn't get to this point because I'm some kind of big time Christian. No. It's just that when I was in it, I began to eat and drink the word. And faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God.
Yes.
And you will hear God's voice when you begin to study the scriptures and to show yourself approved, not unto men, but unto God, because it's unto God, because the scriptures is the voice of God.
Yes.
So when you know the scriptures, when you're going through and your mind is just so confused, he will say, I will keep you in perfect peace.
I will keep
whose
you in
mind
perfect
is
peace.
stayed on me.
Yes.
And when you can't pay your bill, I will supply your needs according to which is in glory. So we have to depend, and we have to trust that what he says, he will do. And when I was going through, I remember, before I went into my trial, I always hated this scripture. He said, I have some things to show you, but you cannot bear them now. And I was like, you have some things to show me, but I cannot bear them now. But when you come and show me it, I still
can't bear them then either.
Because it's like, how do you tell me this? But when you look back in that rearview mirror, and you look back, you be like, God makes me blush. That's why I always have a smile on my face.
Always have a smile on your face.
Yeah, you think about the goodness of God. Sometimes you look back and you be like, boy, you so good. I'd be in the closet and I say, oh God, you're so awesome. You're so cool. You're the greatest God ever.
Amen.
I just love him. And you know, he always answers us. He always, always, always answers us. Don't think that God never answers you.
And I want you to say something to someone in particular now. I hope he doesn't mind that I'm putting him on blast, but my cousin just tuned in, Troy Garvey, right? I see that he's watching, and you know, for our family this year, we had a tragedy. Troy's son was tragically killed earlier this year. And for him, as a parent who's going through that, you know, how do you get through that, come out of that, and still be emotionally well? And when I say that, you know, sometimes in life we just survive stuff. Surviving stuff, just so you understand, is not being emotionally well. Just going through the motions is not being emotionally well. Now, sometimes in life that's what you have to do, but they should only be for periods of time. How do you now, as a parent, and I'm using Troy as an example because that hits home for me. You know, Trey was my cousin, and that hits home. And how do you now, as a parent, how do you come to that place of peace after losing a child? You know, as parents, we always say, we're not supposed to bury our children.
Yes, and
you know, and what do you say? What do you think? Because I know going through that, you know, what do you say to God? How do you, you know, how do you deal with that?
That's, I mean, losing a child crushes a parent's spirit.
Yes.
You know, but even though your spirit is crushed, God loves that. He loves a broken heart and a contrite spirit. So when, I mean, and Troy, you know, I know of you, I don't know you, and I know you're an activist. And there was a story told, bear with me, there was a story told of a boy who had a little goat, and the goat got sick. And it was the only goat that he had. And his dad told him, you know, you have to shoot that goat. So he said, you know, why do I have to shoot? Because it's going through pain, it's going through suffering, it's going through turmoil. You know, shoot the goat. So he went there and he shot the goat. And when he shot the goat, he asked God, why did you take away my only friend? Why did you take away the only thing that I love? And why would you even do this to me? Why would you even care that, you know, you don't love me?
Right.
And he said, you know, God answered and said, you know, I did the same thing for you. I sacrificed my only son just for you. And I didn't want it to happen, but because of it happening, it brought y'all, who are children of God, closer to me. So Troy, even though you know you lost your son, and I know you lost your son, I've never lost a child, and I grieve with you as you grieve. But let me tell you something, God loves you. God loved your son. Your son, if I'm not mistaken, was a believer. To my knowledge.
I'm not sure. But
to my knowledge, I've heard that he's
okay.
To my knowledge, I've heard that he was a believer.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
You know, to my knowledge, I heard that he was a believer. So he's God's child. He's with the Father. He's actually in a better place. You know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's sad to say, but Troy is an activist. Troy now he's always passionate. He was always passionate about doing that. But now he's more passionate about those who were hit and run.
Right.
That bring out a passion in him that he never even knew he had. Out of his passion now, out of his pain comes his passion. Because I know for sure, if I'm not mistaken, Troy will be out there fighting for that until the...
I think it's on. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's on. It's on. Okay, I think Troy is saying he was, well, that Trey was a believer.
Okay,
so.
well, you know, he's actually in a better place.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of way? But Troy passion now comes out when because now he's passionate about this. Persons them that were knocked down by any and everybody, Troy will be on the streets. Oh no, this can't happen. Laws has to be changed. This has to be changed. This can't be happening. This happened. Now he identified with those who are in pain of losing a loved one.
Right. Okay, well, I thought I would say that because we are talking about emotional wellness. And it comes in so many different shapes and sizes. And I think that as You know, the Lord has spared our life to see another year. I think we need to focus on doing things differently. And I'm saying this as much for you all as I am for myself. Because if you're in a state where you're not emotionally well, then you need to get emotionally well. And we need to be intentional about it.
Yes, yes.
And that's why I keep bringing that home this morning, because we don't put enough emphasis on our mental well-being. We'll take care of a lot of other things. Mm-hmm. We'll take care of the way we look.
Yes.
We'll take care of the way we dress. Mm-hmm. We'll take care of our jobs. Mm-hmm. We'll even take care of our families. But we would never take care of this. We would never take the time. And what I have realized, right, even going through my journey, is that you really have to be intentional about taking care of your mind.
Yes, yes. Yes.
You really have to be intentional about it, because if you don't, see, the problem is when you don't take care of yourself emotionally, when you don't, and I find when I say taking care of yourself emotionally, I find stuff like, okay, we now have to learn how to place boundaries on our life. Emotional boundaries. Little things, things like, just saying no. Sometimes
no is an answer.
You gotta say no. If you know that you have been working yourself to the bone, for an example, and somebody is coming and asking you, and I mean, it may be somebody you care about, it may be a good cause even, but saying no may be the word that you need to learn in 2019 so that you don't get burnt out. Because what I wanted to, oh Lord, I lost my train of thought. What I wanted to, anyway, don't worry about it. I lost my train of thought. I saw a note and I lost my train of thought. But in any event, I want to encourage you to be interactive. As far as the show is today, I wanted to hear your comments. If you had a question, I want you to throw them at us. We would answer them.
Any questions.
Yeah, we would answer them as best we could. Mm-hmm. We did want this show to have more of an interactive feel. So for those of you who are tuning in, please feel free. And we just wanted to draw home the importance of emotional health. I think that's what I was alluding to earlier. And one of the things I realized is that there are boundaries that we need to place.
Yes, they are.
Like you mentioned something to me that you do. You said sometimes when you're going, you realize that, you know what? I just need to stop.
Yes, I do that.
So when that happens, okay, today, it's my stop day. I see that is happening. And the reason I'm saying this is because I believe that many times when we get to the point where we have a breakdown, when we have a mental breakdown, or we suffer from a lot of these mental conditions like depression and anxiety, right, the physical body and has now become burnt out.
Yes.
So you don't stop. So somehow all these other things happen and they stop you.
Yeah, he makes you lie down in sweet rest.
Yes, and the thing is, one of the things, or even apart from us, one of the things is when you get to a point where you're having a nervous breakdown or a mental breakdown, the problem is, to me, the hole becomes so deep,
yes.
that it takes you an even longer time to get out of it. And I feel a lot of times like that is what occurred with me.
Yes.
There were some things where, there were some things mentally that I knew was going on, but I just kept pushing. I just kept going. I didn't really give too much credit to what was happening. And as a result, I think it lingered, and as time went on, things just got worse and worse until it got to the point where literally, I would say, I just had a big breakdown. Mm-hmm. And what I'm trying to get people to see with this show, I don't want you to have to go through that.
No.
If you learn early on to take care of yourself emotionally and to be adamant and definite and just dig your heels in, that no matter what, you're going to make sure that you keep yourself in an emotionally healthy state, then hopefully, by God's grace, you may be a person that may never ever have to experience any type of chronic depression, or you may be a person that may never ever have to go through panic attacks, because these things happen when things build.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think that's why, for me, it's so important to draw that home, you know, and it's like we got to catch it quick.
You have to, yeah, you have to.
You know what I mean?
You have to know when, like, you have to know it. Well, we live in a busy world. We live in a fast
Right,
world.
everything is fast paced.
Yeah. And some persons work 12-hour shift, you know, and they never get to stop. Because when they don't finish, they have to go home, deal with the wife, deal with the children, deal with the husband, all of that. But you have to take a day when you just stop. You just stop and say, I'm going to relax. You know, I'm just not going to do anything. Some days I used to just see everything around me, and I'll just lay down, and I'll have some friends stop by and they say, don't you see this place? I said, you see it? Why don't you play in it? Because I was burnt out. So you just have to stop. Just stop. You know, like the story of Mary and Martha.
Right,
You know?
that's a very, very good example.
Yeah, the story of Mary and Martha. You know, Martha was troubled about many things. You know, you're troubled about how your children going to do in school, what they're going to do in the future. You're worried about, is your husband going to get the next job to take care of the family, to pay the bills. You're worried about if I'm going to get that nice dress to wear this function on the weekend. You know, you're worried about so much things. But what Mary did, Mary sat at the Savior's feet. Sat at his feet. And every word he said, she listened to. You know? So that's what we have to do. And it sounds a little, you know, we say that cliche, oh, trust in God and do this. But we really do have to trust in God, you know? We really have to trust in God and just take him at his very word. You know, those who aren't believers, trust me, God loves you. So he listens to you and he hears your very cry. Every cry you cry, he hears. And he's willing and able to answer you. So you have to believe that, you know.
Yeah.
Just believe it.
And that brings to mind one other thing. I think time goes so quickly. I believe we'll be wrapping up in a few minutes. Right? But do you ever notice, and this is one of the things I noticed, and it's something that you have to fight. Nowadays, with the world being the rat race that it is, I noticed that people wear busyness almost like a badge of honor.
Oh yes, if you stop. Well, that's just crazy.
You know, I'm busy, and we create lives that, listen, you create no time for rest, you create no time for breaks, you wake up, hit the ground running, you don't see nothing.
Some people sleeping busy because they're dreaming about what they have to do.
Right, and then that's the way you go every day. And I think what happens is society, and that's why I say, boy, this is Satan's world. So no, society makes that seem like that's the way you should live. If you have a balanced life, and a life, when I say balanced, okay, you rest some, you work some, they may actually get you to thinking that you're not, quote, busy enough. Because this is the type of world that we're in, and it's the type of environment that's promoted. Busyness is the order of the day. If you want to succeed, if you want to get all the nice stuff in life, you got to work. You got to eat. You got to eat it. You got to drink it. You got to sleep it. You got to be the president of the PTA. You got to carry your children to a trillion activities. You got to be the perfect wife. You got to be the perfect supervisor. You got to bring in the bacon. Just everything. Yeah, your house got to be clean. The food got to be cooked. Just everything. And I think society has made us think that that's a badge of honor.
Yes.
When in reality, if you look at the statistics, a lot of statistics state that mental conditions are on the rise.
Yes.
Anxiety is on the rise. Depression is on the rise.
It's going to get worse because, it's going to get worse.
Yes, because the society, the communities that we now live in, they push us to live these unbalanced lives of busyness. Like, before the light bulb was invented, you couldn't work at night. You couldn't work at night, and that was God's plan. You rise with the sun, you work while it's light out. When the sun go down, that's it for you. Time to stop. And guess what you had to do, because you couldn't see?
No.
Now, with the advancement of technology and man's true wisdom and intellect, now you have lights. You could do anything in the night. When I'm in the States, I see them even fixing the roads in the night.
Yeah.
They get those lights out and they work, work, work. Oh, there's a song, that reminds me of one song, work, work, work. It's a secular song, but something about work, 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 right?
Yeah.
But so they do that.
Yes.
So you find that you just constantly, your mind just constantly going.
And then with me, just to keep your mind sound and at ease and at rest, I always use the scripture. It's when I see nighttime coming, it's foolish to go to bed late
And to wake up early. That's
So
right.
if you have to wake up early, you should be to bed
Early.
Like 8 o'clock, 8:30. You should. Because if you're rising up early, it's going to take a toll on your physical body
Right.
after a while.
Right.
So just remember, when you see yourself staying up so late, it's foolish to go to bed late and rise up early. So I make sure if I have to go to bed late, I'm not rolling over that bed very, very early. No.
Right, right. And this is true because, again, rest is another component. Rest is another component to keeping yourself emotionally well.
Yeah.
If you're not rested, you can't think clearly.
No. You know when you're hungry,
You can't think clearly.
Yeah. When you go on our favorite bank lines.
Oh my goodness.
And you have 5 tellers and you see 2 click that bell at 3 o'clock because they go into lunch. You see them, no, next teller please, they go into lunch. And I always smile when they do that because I said, guess what? They have to go to lunch because you don't want them to be, their sugar level to be low. And they snapping at you. That's why they give them a lunch break. They need a rest.
I'll give you the wrong amount of money. Because
So,
they're not alert.
No, they're not alert. And that happened before with my son. My son was sick one time ago. And we took him to the hospital, and this doctor said, I'm very, very tired, and whatever. So the nurses said, please just see him because, he's out of it. One of his lungs collapsed. And the doctor said, okay, then I'll see him. And then when he saw him, he gave him the wrong medication, the wrong diagnosis, and sent him home. When we brought him, he was almost out of it.
Right.
And then they were just trying to figure out what happened. How could this doctor do this? And I said, guess what? Don't blame it on the doctor. I said that doctor was tired. So when you're tired, you don't reason well. You don't function well.
No.
So you need rest. You really, really
Yes.
need rest.
And these are simple things.
Yeah.
But because we do not believe in being intentional about taking care of our mental well-being, we do not check for these things.
And then the Bible says there is no man like-minded to take care of your state. When you go to a psychiatric doctor, all he could do is medicate that physical so that mind could become at ease.
Right.
That kind of way. So they're really medicating the physical because he puts you to sleep.
Right.
First thing he does, he puts you to sleep.
Yep.
That medication.
For real.
Yeah.
Well, I think that comes to the end of it. There's a lot more that we could say. My producer is cutting his eyes at me, so I suspect that I did not mention our sponsors. So let me mention them one more time before we end. And that is Richie's Calypso, Upstairs on the Bay, 5-star shipping, Simply the Best, Hair to Please, Cabinet Depot, C&B Rental, Painter's Touch, and Zorbers. So again, I just want to say a special thank you as we go into 2019 for the sponsors that have really, really believed in what we were doing and trying to promote emotional wellness in our society.
And who have really put their money where their mouth is to help us. This is, again, like I say, it's not cheap. And it takes effort, it takes equipment. I wish one of these days we could take the camera and just turn it around and you can see how much stuff is in front of us and what it takes, because sometimes we look at these things and we take it for granted. We have so much access to TV and to regular cable television, but we don't see what's behind the scenes. And for you to be able to see me very clearly, see Nora very clearly, hear us very clearly, everything is, equipment and effort. So I just want to say a big, big thank you to our partners. We look forward to your continued support as we enter 2019, okay? And on that note, we're going to wrap up. Again, this was about us being intentional. And I think above everything else, that's what anybody who's listening needs to take away from the show today. We want to be intentional in 2019 about maintaining
Balance.
balance in our lives so that we can be emotionally well. If we are not intentional and if we do not take many of the measures that we mentioned and many others, we will not be emotionally well. And to me, that is a travesty because you can have all the money in the world and you can still be in a very dark place. I think of what has transpired in 2018. We had the famous traveler, explorer, Anthony
Yes.
Bourdain. You know, you would think, why would he kill himself?
He had
You know,
everything.
he had everything.
It's
No,
not about everything.
he didn't have
Yeah.
everything.
It's
Hey,
about peace of
Deidre,
mind.
my former boss there from Scotia, he had material wise he had everything, but he did not have everything, and too often we equate wellness with material wealth, and that is certainly not the case because you can have everything and still have nothing.
Yes.
Then we look at people like Kate Spade, and I was so, that I was so disheartened to hear that, oh my goodness, she got to the point where she had dealt with it apparently for a number of years, and she just decided that that was it. And she was a mother and she was wealthy and had a successful brand. We all know her, but it just says to you again that we need to stop connecting our emotional well-being with the material,
Yeah.
because you can have.
When you run after the material, it causes your emotional wellness.
Right. So you have to, are you going to work 24/7 and not take care of yourself?
25/8.
Right. Someone said, you spend all your health. I forgot how it goes. But
You
anyway,
spend all your life
you
making
spend,
money.
right, and then you have to take all of
that
the
money-
money. How does it go, producer? You
You
spend all of your health gaining your wealth, and then you will turn around and gladly have to spend all of your wealth to try and regain your health. And a lot of times we only think of the physical, but we're talking about emotional health too. Because again, my thing is, by the time you've reached a point where you have had a mental breakdown, it takes so much to get you back to a place of balance. So if you can recognize
before you go into it,
and really, really make a conscious effort. And a lot of times it's little things like Nora said, you're going too much. You know it, we always know up here. We know. Nobody else may know, but we know. And sometimes, we have to even be, we have to be very aggressive sometimes because, again, only we know the state of our minds. And sometimes you may even have to say to that husband or to that child, listen, back up. I need to rest, or I just need a break, or whatever it is you have to do. And then sometimes you may have to say to that employer, nope, I did overtime for the last 3-4 weeks. I cannot do it anymore. At 5 o'clock, I need to go home. Or, it's just so much. Or,
and then we have to say to that light bill, I'm putting $25 on you this week because that's all I have.
right.
Because you go stress out with the light bill and the water bill and the mortgage, So.
And these are all material things. And let me tell you one of the things I realized going through what I have been through. Let me tell you something. When you are in an emotional crisis or you're in a state of just that the darkest place you've ever been in your life, nothing material matters. That's why rich people commit suicide, because material gain really does not make you happy. We think it does, and I'm not saying it doesn't make you comfortable, and I'm not denying that. Hey. Everybody want to be comfortable. Ain't nobody want to be stressed out over bills. That's not what I'm saying. So I want to put that disclaimer out there. What I am saying is that it's not the end at all. That you are not going to find emotional wellness in your material possessions. That's not where you're going to find emotional wellness. You're going to find it up here.
Yeah.
For me, as a believer, truly I believe that it comes from the Lord.
And then when you're emotionally well, everybody around you is okay.
Yes.
Your friends are better people because
Yes,
of you.
yes.
Your friends are better people because, Michelle Grant.
Yeah, I didn't want to
Michelle.
interrupt you. I was waiting until you were done.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you say, be over that 40. So
Yeah.
when you're emotionally well, your friends are, you're a better friend. You're a better mother. You're a better wife. You're a better husband. you're a better employee, you're a better employer.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
you're just better.
Yeah, you are. So 2019, my brothers and sisters, let's be emotionally well. And we can do it, but we have to be intentional about it. It has to be a priority. And that's what we want you to take away from today. I want to say, thanks to my girl for joining me today. You all see, Nora, I shouldn't even call her a guest because she's on the show so much. But
Just remember,
Michelle from
yeah,
Turks, thanks for tuning in. That's my
Shout it
faithful
out.
supporter. Oh, yeah.
Deidre.
Yeah, that's my girl
Yeah,
now.
Deidre.
Yeah, Deidre. Yes, thank you.
Odette.
Yes,
Always.
thank you all for
Troy,
tuning
yeah.
in. Remember to
Share.
watch share this video, watch the shows. If you've missed any of them, you can check out YouTube.
Subscribe to the YouTube
Right,
channel.
subscribe to my YouTube channel, or you can go on Facebook. So either one of those. And we want to encourage you to tune in next week, same time here with us. I will put out on Facebook what it is we'll be talking about. But I just want to say, above everything else this year, I just pray for you all that your life is filled with peace, with joy and contentment. Okay? All right. So, God bless you.